So after owning the 2024 Yamaha MT-09SP for exactly 5 months today, I think I've had enough time to really find out what makes this bike amazing and maybe 2 or 3 things that might deter a couple of riders. Today we're going to go over 3 pros and 3 cons about this bike that I found over the first 5 months of owning it, the first 4,000 kilometers I've put on the bike, and we're going to find out, is this bike for you? Is it still worth the hype that it was when it first came out? Let's find out together. All right, so let's kick it off with the most obvious pro for this bike, and that is the 889cc CP3 engine that we have on the MT-09. This engine from the factory delivers 117 horsepower, but now that I've tuned it, I got the full race fit Growler X exhaust on there. It now pushes around 125. I've only done that and the airbox mod, and that's the horsepower that I'm getting. Huge improvement after you tune this thing and put an exhaust on it. The engine is smooth, the power delivery is crazy. It is the perfect engine for the street, the perfect power for the street. I've ridden MT-10s before, and you know, you kind of got to get in that rev range to really feel the power. This thing has all the power, low to medium RPMs. You get all of that horsepower all the time, whenever you need it. It's the perfect machine, the perfect engine for that kind of riding. Now, pro number 2, we have to talk about the stability and suspension that comes on this bike. Now, we have the KYB front forks, golden front forks on there, which look beautiful. And of course, we have the Öhlins rear shock in the back. These are insanely adjustable. There is things you can twist and move with your hands or tools on every single part of this suspension setup, and I'll be honest with you, I have not adjusted it for myself just yet. I'm not super knowledgeable on suspension, so I might take it to a shop and get it adjusted for my weight, or I might do some reading up on suspension and try and dial it in myself and try a few different things. But this is pretty much straight from the factory suspension, and I've ridden 1,000 other MT-09s. This is by far the best. I don't believe you need to adjust a whole lot, really. I think I made the rear a little bit stiffer just when I had my partner on the back, but that's the only adjusting that I've done. Going through corners, through twisties, through bends, this thing feels solid as a rock. You hit a bump halfway through a turn, it's absolutely no problem for the Öhlins rear shock to deal with. You don't even feel it. So suspension, the lightweight chassis of the bike makes it super nimble, like you're riding a 300. It's perfect, honestly. Now for the third and final pro, a huge plus on this new bike is the electronics, specifically the TFT display that comes on the bike. Now you have so many rider aids to choose from. We have slide control, brake control, cornering ABS. You can turn off the rear ABS on the SP model. We have wheelie control or lift control, obviously traction control, different power modes. There is a million different things you can change on this bike. On top of that, we have the Gen 3 quick shifter, which is silky smooth when upshifting and downshifting. You can downshift on acceleration, you can upshift with no throttle. It's perfect. We come along to the left-hand controls here. We also have cruise control, which I use every single time I ride. Honestly, it's a game changer on longer rides to rest your hands or stretch your back, anything like that. We have a PlayStation controller here, basically with the 4-way little joystick we have to control the menu. I think it's great. I can use it with track gloves on, I can use it with summer gloves on, super easy to use. If you get the SP model, the TFT display also comes with a track mode as well. Track mode is great, obviously, for the track. You can do all your lap times. You have a lean angle sensor, which you can check inside of the bike itself, see how much you get leaned over. You can go through all your laps, see which one was the quickest, see how fast you went, your average fuel consumption. And I think the track modes are really good. I'll be going to the track next month, so I'm definitely going to be testing that. Hopefully I can put a camera on the bike and you guys can see what it's all about. You got a whole bunch of different themes to choose from. If you don't like one theme, you can switch it up try a different theme for the day, see if you like that theme better. Each theme displays different kind of information, but this is the theme that I go for because you can see all the rider aids at the bottom and you can change them on the go, whereas all the other themes, you can't do that. You have to go into the settings to change the rider mode. So this is by far my favorite theme. There's a million other technological things with this bike that I could go through, but they're my favorites. Now onto the negatives of this bike, which obviously took me a while to figure out because in my eyes, this bike is near perfect. So it took me a while to come up with 3 negatives, but here we go. Just a quick segment for you guys. It is Black Friday time and the biggest sales right now are on Insta360 and Cardo. Both of these I have links for in the description. You can get huge sales if you use my code Infamous on the Cardo website for a 20% discount on almost all the Cardos on their store. 20% off if you use my code Infamous. With the Insta360, this is what I've been using for all the B-roll in the video you're seeing today. So if you use my link in the description or in my bio, you can get yourself one of these up to 185 USD off. So if you want to buy an Insta360, now's the perfect time. Let's get back to the video. All right, con number 1, this is in no particular order, but my first con is comfort on longer journeys. So we're talking anything over maybe an hour and a half, an hour, depends on how heavy, how much weight you got in your butt to comfort you. This seat is definitely a sportier style seat. It is a bit firmer than, you know, a touring seat or a Harley seat or anything like that. For obvious reasons, this is a sporty bike. But if you're looking to go on those longer kind of rides, 2+ hours, your butt is going to get a little bit sore after a little while. Now, there is lots of aftermarket options for seats. Obviously, you can take the cover off, you can replace the foam, you can replace the whole seat if you wanted to. Yamaha has their own comfort seat. It's a little bit pricey, but if it's a big issue for you, you can go ahead and buy that, and it looks sick as well. Honestly, this isn't something I really worry about. I don't go on an hour and a half plus rides very often, but when I do, I just chuck on the cruise control, stand up a little bit, stretch my back, stretch my legs, stretch my arms, sit back down, and we're good to go for another little while. So not a huge issue, but it is an issue if you do longer rides. All right, con number 2, and this is probably the biggest con in my opinion. It's the thing I notice the most when it comes to riding this bike, and that is fuel economy, how far you get on a tank of fuel, and it's not great. Now, I don't have exact numbers for you, but just to put it out there, this thing had full bars today before I went for my ride. I went on a ride, I was gone maybe an hour and a half, not super hard riding, mostly highway, a bit over 100 kilometers, and this thing is down to the second last bar. So not great on fuel. Straight from the factory, it was pretty good, comparable to my other 2017 MT-09, which got about 200 to the tank after tune. From the factory, pretty good, pretty comparable to any other triple on the market. After the tune, instantly I noticed this thing, the fuel economy dropped. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I asked them to make it pop a little bit with the exhaust. Might be my fault, might not be, but after the tune, this thing definitely chews through the fuel quite a lot. I don't know what the range is, I haven't tested it yet. I would say I'd say around 160 to 80, maybe, depends on how you're riding. That's probably what you're looking at. So that's my biggest gripe after getting it tuned. Fuel economy, not that great. Now, I really had to think about what the third con was going to be. I even asked ChatGPT to figure it out, and it gave me random stuff like maintenance, which the maintenance on this is no different to any other bike. It's very simple. So maintenance is not a con, it's comparable. So what I figured out was probably the price. Okay, so this bike, we're talking Australian dollars. it cost me $20,799, so nearly $21,000 for this bike. And you know, I paid it because I wanted it, but it's not cheap. All right, you can buy a lot of really good used bikes for that price. You could buy, I don't know, a pretty well specced out R6 for that price. You could buy a pretty decent R1 for that price, secondhand. So $21,000, it's a bit, you know, it's a bit. I expect the prices to come down a little bit through the years, obviously as used bikes become available. I don't think many people are going to be selling these anytime soon, but when that happens, I reckon they'll be down around the 16,000, 17,000 mark. If I was the one selling them, if I was Yamaha, I probably would have put it at maybe 19,000 would be a good price. I'm not sure, I can't remember how much the Gen 3 SPs go for. I think they're around 19,000, but that's probably what I would have put it at. And then now the R9 is coming out next year, and that's going to be like 23,000 AUD. So it's not looking like it's going down at all. So today's market, 21,000 almost is what these are worth. Pretty expensive, but if you want top of the line stuff, top of the line technology, it's just the price you got to pay, unfortunately. So those are my 3 pros, my 3 cons about the 2024 MT-09 SP. Do you agree with them? It took me a while to figure out all the pros that I wanted to put in the video and all the cons. So if you guys agree, let me know, that'd be great. If there's any more cons that you can think of, let me know, that would be great. Let the viewers know if there's any more cons that they should be aware of before buying this bike. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me some more video ideas in the comments below. I struggle to come up with ideas, so yeah. Become a member if you'd like. Hit the join button below the video. It really helps support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.